ability.
Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news in the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter podcast, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorda, and I'm here with my co-host, Ringside Robert, and England's adopted son, Joe Beeb. We have a great show for you today, and as always, you can catch us on the web at ringsidereporter.com. If you want to call and ask questions, you can call in right now at 323-870-3857, and we will be here till 9 tonight, no later. Robert, no later than 9. You know why? Titletown is playing. That's why, baby. Titletown is playing tonight. Cincinnati right now, smashing Nevada. Xavier plays at 8:40. Going to get to catch a second half. That's the way it goes, Daddy, when you're in Titletown. Too many obligations, baby. Too many obligations. Today, we're going to talk about Vasyl Lomachenko. Jorge Linares is set for May 12th. It's a big fight. Terrence Crawford is out of his big fight with a hand injury. It's on a delay. We'll tell you about it. But first, we get started with Amir Imam versus Jose Ramirez last night on ESPN. Jose Ramirez looked really good in this fight, man. He put a lot of pressure on Imam and did some really good body work. Imam had his moments too, but by and large, the fight belonged to Ramirez. He just kind of pushed the pace, landed more shots, heavier shots. Final scores were 120-108, 117-111, 115-113, all for Jose Ramirez. Last week, Pacquiao's camp announced that they were going to fight Lucas Matisse. Then Arum came out and said if Ramirez wins, he would get the shot at Pac-Man. Whatever happens, happens. But I got to tell you, man, after seeing Ramirez fight last night, I was really sour on Ramirez-Pacquiao. But I tell you what, I like Ramirez-Pacquiao better now. I think it's a more interesting fight. Ramirez looked that good last night. He looked very, very good. Beeb, you saw the fight. What were your thoughts?
Well, I will say there was no surprises in terms of what I anticipated. I thought that Ramirez would pressure Imam, and I thought Imam would have problems with it because he had problems with the pressure that Granados gave him. And I think that Ramirez can do everything Granados could do, and probably even better than that. Not even probably, most certainly, I think. The thing about it is when you're fighting at this level, the top level, and you're going to be a world champion, you have to be well-rounded. You have to be able to do more than one thing. You can't just have an outside game. You have to have an inside game too. You have to have a mid-range game. Obviously, you're going to have your strengths and your weaknesses, and your style is going to, basically be what your style is. I mean, make no mistake about it, Ramirez, for the most part, is a guy that likes to get in the inside and likes to grind it out. But, he knows how to deal with guys who try to fight him on the outside. He knows how to get past their jabs. He knows how to feint his way in. He knows how to get low and make himself a compact target. Imam had no answers for what Ramirez brought to the table when Ramirez decided that I'm going to make this an inside fight. Imam's defense was kind of just try to roll a little bit and ride the shots out instead of try to use his legs a little bit more, maybe step off to the side and make subtle pivots. He was just kind of trying to roll everything. And when a guy's coming straight at you, you can't roll everything. You're going to have to create some angles. You're going to have to step around him and kind of let him be the bull and you be the matador. And Imam didn't do that. His jab was good in spots, but let's give credit to Ramirez. He made the adjustments. He got past it. He figured a way to kind of time it. And as soon as Imam pulled it back in, he was in his face. So, I think Imam is a good fighter. He's a solid fighter. But at this level, as I said, not to beat a dead horse, you got to bring more than one tool to the construction site if you're going to build that building fast and efficiently. And he just didn't have that extra set of tools in the box. And that's why he lost the fight. I anticipated him getting knocked out. Credit to him. He hung in there tough. In the last 2 rounds, it looked like he was kind of hurt where he possibly could have gone, but he hung in there. He fought it out, and he did the best he could. But, it is what it is. You know, more often than not, a really solid inside fighter will beat an outside fighter for the most part.
Robert, what were your thoughts on this?
I'm very happy for Jose Ramirez. He's one of my favorite fighters. I enjoy watching him fight. And I thought that he had the edge coming into this fight, and he proved it. Yeah, Imam had won 3 consecutive fights after being knocked out by Granados, but, you know, I don't know the level of competition that he'd been fighting. And, you know, Ramirez just did everything better. He just, it was a competitive fight. Imam had his rounds, he had his spots, but if I was scoring the fight, and I definitely would give it to Ramirez, and I think he won. And that's why I question the judge that had it 120 to 108. What the hell were you watching? It was not a mismatch. It was a decent scrap. 2 good guys in there. They went back and forth, but you could definitely tell who was winning, and it definitely belonged to Jose. And good for him.
All right, so let's talk about, what do you think about, now we talked about the Pacquiao Matisse last week, and how Pacquiao's camp came out and says, yeah, this is final, we're going to fight Matisse. Bob Arum said, not so fast. If Ramirez wins, that's the fight we want. What fight do you like better? Do you like Matisse or Pac Ramirez?
Look, I think Manny Pacquiao, and people are going to hate me for saying this, has got to prove that he still wants to fight. Yeah, he lost a very controversial decision to Jeff Horn. Well, we can all agree to that. But, you know, now he's been fighting over where fights are going to take place. They had the fight scheduled for New York. He didn't want it there. They had the fight scheduled for Las Vegas. He didn't want it there. And he didn't. And I'm glad that the Alvarado thing didn't come off. I would like to see him fight Matisse, because I want to see, does Manny Pacquiao still want to do this at the highest level? I think a guy like Jose Ramirez, who just won his title, should fight his mandatory against Regis Prograis. I think that's going to be a hell of a fight. 2 young and upcoming fighters. They're both undefeated, and I think they deserve a shot at one another. I think Manny should fight Matisse if he's going to fight anybody, and Prograis and Ramirez should fight, and the winner of that fight, should get the winner of Pacquiao Matisse. That's how I would do it, but of course they're not going to do it that way. I'm sure if Bob wants Pacquiao to fight Ramirez, that's exactly what will happen. And I feel bad for Regis in that case, because he deserves his title shot.
Now, Beeb, what if it does go this way with Pacquiao Ramirez? Can Pacquiao win that fight, or is Ramirez just too busy at this point in time now in his career?
Pacquiao could win the fight, but I just see Ramirez doing a lot of the things Jeff Horn did, but also more than that, doing Jeff Horn's tactics as well as some of his own, because Ramirez is a big, strong kid, and he can maul you up close. Pacquiao does not like to fight on the inside. He's a mid-range guy, and Jeff Horn really, really imposed his will. Now, the reason why Ramirez would make things tough for Pacquiao is Ramirez is very quick, and he feints his way in too. But what the thing is, he's a little creative and uses a little bit of finesse to get there. But once he's in there, he can get rough and tumble on the inside. That would present a lot of problems for Pacquiao. Matisse, I think his style fits Pacquiao a little bit better because they're both mid-range guys. But the thing is Pacquiao has faster hands than Matisse. But I could see Ramirez really making this fight ugly in a similar way to what Jeff Horn did, but then add his own little spin on top of that, which would make things double trouble for Manny Pacquiao. The big thing I'm wondering here, and it's kind of a bad look for Pacquiao. He's going down to 140 and not staying at 147, where all the big dogs are. And all the big dogs would fight him in a heartbeat. If you ask Keith Thurman tomorrow, will you fight Manny Pacquiao? Yep. Danny Garcia? Yep. Terrence Crawford's up there now. Yep. Sean Porter? Yep. You know, and I think from a financial standpoint, those fights would probably bring him more money. But, you know, Bob does have some of the 140 pounders too. But I just think that it seems to me that he's avoiding some tough challenges up at 147, and he conveniently dropped down to 140 when things started getting hot, because there's no seniors tour up there anymore. Mayweather's gone. Marquez is gone. Now you got to deal with the young guns. So he's saying to himself, yeah, I'm probably still going to have to deal with the young guns down at 140, but these guys are a little bit smaller. I haven't been knocking guys out at 147. Maybe I don't have that punching power at 147 that I thought I did, or I was perceived to have. So I'll go down to 140 and see if I can overpower some of these young bucks. I don't know. It just looks like he's kind of I don't want to say running from the challenges, but it's quite obvious to me that he's avoiding some of those big names at 147 because he's maybe concerned about what those guys can do in terms of being skilled as well as having some pop. Because he's at that stage now where he's not going to get better. He is going to decline. He has declined. But I love the fight with Ramirez. I really do. I think it's intriguing. And I agree with you 110% because quite frankly, haven't seen a lot of Ramirez, little bits and pieces here and there. But last night, I think, was his coming out party against a pretty solid, credible opponent. And he more than performed, better than I anticipated. I thought he would win the fight. But he showed, I'm not going to say he performed better than I anticipated. He showed a lot of wrinkles last night that impressed me. He showed versatility. He showed that he was a smart fighter, a creative fighter, not just a brawler. And I think because of all those things, it's going to be a tough fight for Pacquiao if it does come off. But don't be surprised if he turns it down too, because he's been at odds with Bob Arum lately, and he hasn't really hasn't been seeing eye to eye with Arum. So I wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't come off either. If Bob may want it, but will Pacquiao accept it and sign the contract?
Right. Let me ask you again, there's some talk about this on the chat, and I seem to remember it too. Wasn't Danny Garcia offered the fight with Pacquiao?
He was.
Because of the money, right? It was.
Yeah, he was. And he turned it down.
That was like close to almost, I want to say, a year and a half to 2 years ago, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Now
he would take it in a heartbeat after seeing that Pacquiao versus Jeff Horn. There's no way none of those guys say no now.
Right. No, right. Exactly. Anybody should. Because I remember reading a quote from Danny Garcia saying he'd fight Pacquiao, but you got to pay him. You know what I mean? He wants to
Broner turned the fight down too.
Broner did.
Well, they were both offered $4 million, and they both turned it down.
Right.
$4 million. That's nothing to sneeze at. And I don't think. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jason. You would know better than me. Has Broner or Danny Garcia ever made $4 million in their life before? I don't know. You tell me.
Hell no.
Jason.
I'm not Jason, but I can already say hell no.
Jason learned his lesson this week about looking at YouTube videos. I'll tell you more about that in a little while, but Jason did learn his lesson this week, and he, hey, listen, we do this. We do this, buddy. This is what we do. All right.
No, but I really want to see Ramirez and Prograis fight. I really think that would be a top-notch fight, and Prograis is his mandatory. So, Bob, don't worry about Manny, because I'm not convinced Manny Pacquiao still wants to do this for a living.
Yeah. All right, so let me ask you guys here. Rob Palmer, everybody knows Rob Palmer. He does our rankings on ringsidereporter.com. He texted me last night and wanted us specifically to do a review of the 140 pounds. Here's what he has. Light welterweight, 140 pounds. World championship is vacant. Mikey Garcia of the IBF, number 1. Number 2, Victor Postal. Number 3, Regis Prograis. 4, he's got Jose Ramirez, who just won, obviously, last night. 5, Kirill Relic. 6, Sergey Lipinets. 7, Adrian Broner. 8, Felix Diaz. 9, Ivan Branchik. And number 10, Julius Ndongo. I think that Broner can come off that list because I'll be shocked if he makes 140 pounds. It would not surprise me if they fought at some kind of catch weight or something like that. Let's see here. Mikey Garcia, number 1. I think that's I think you got to, until Mikey Garcia gets beat, I think you have to put him at number 1 at 140. Jose Ramirez and Victor Postal, though, I think he goes down. I think Prograis goes up. I think, for me, I would have Mikey Garcia, Regis Prograis, Jose Ramirez, and Kirill Relic in the top 4. What about you guys?
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
No,
that's exactly how I would do it.
Fair to me, and that sounds fair to me. And besides, we don't know what Mikey's going to do. Is he going to stay at 140? Is he going to go down to 135? We just don't know about him.
Right. Yeah, you don't know. I mean, that's the thing. Well, I'm wondering if Mikey Garcia is going to go down to 135, given the news this week, if he's going to try to pursue a fight, and we'll talk about that here in a few. But, I think that's, as far as people in the top 10, I think Lipinets has earned his spot in the top 10. Where do you rank Braun? I think Bronner's at 7 right now. Where would you
probably take Bronner out of there?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. When was the last time
I would take Bronner and Ndongo out?
Ndongo especially. Yeah, I think Ndongo's got to go. Bronner out. I don't know who to replace him with, but there's got to be some young guns out there.
And Branchik should move up. He's a good fighter.
Yeah, he sure is. Yeah, he really is. But I would take Bronner and Ndongo out. When I don't have BoxRec up. Who did Bronner fight last? I'm trying to think of who did Bronner fight last.
Mikey Garcia.
Wasn't Mikey Garcia?
Mikey Garcia. Was that at 140?
It's at 140 and he lost.
That was a 140. Yeah.
Okay, so he didn't make the weight for it then. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Right.
Arguably, he lost to Granados too.
Yeah, but he didn't make weight for
Granados.
He didn't make weight for Granados.
I wouldn't even be against throwing Granados in that top 10 somewhere. Maybe bottom half.
No, because 140 is his natural weight.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got to fight. I want to see Granados again. I'm really excited to see him again, but not against Sean Porter. And you know what? And credit to him that he took the fight. But I think Adrian Granados has got a real problem. I think it's time for him to switch promoters, switch management, do something, because nobody wants to fight him. And the only reason he got Sean Porter is because nobody wanted to fight him. And he's moving up 7 pounds out of his natural weight class. Porter was just bigger and stronger, just bulldozed him, and had trouble with him at times. But I mean, he's a game fighter. Adrian Granados could really be right in the mix at that 140 if he chooses to go back down to 140 and fight. He could definitely be right in the mix. He could fight and give any one of those guys problems. He's not a walkover for any one of those guys. So, yeah. So let's talk about the second fight on the card. Alexander Gvozdyk versus Mehdi Amar. Gvozdyk got a little banged up here, but won a fairly one-sided fight. You know, Amar put up a good fight and wanted to win, but Gvozdyk was just too much for him, man. I thought it was a good fight for Gvozdyk. He needs these type of fights. In order to develop, he needs these type of fights. Final scores were 117, 111, 116, 112, and 118, 110. I kind of fall in the 117, 111, or 118, 110 range. I don't think it was any closer than that. All of them in favor for Gvozdyk. Jason texted me last night and said that Gvozdyk went life and death with Mehdi Amar. I think that was a little overstated after watching the fight. Yeah, right. I think that was a little overstated after watching the fight. Beeb, what were your thoughts on this fight? Did he go life and death with him?
I will say this. I thought Gvozdyk would get him out of there, and I think a lot of people thought he would get him out of there. But he won rounds, but it just looked like, again, another guy who seemed a little bit limited, mostly an outside guy. No answers for somebody when they get inside and they're in his chest. He looked very uncomfortable in spots in this fight, looked frustrated in spots in this fight, but he was in there with someone who just wasn't quick enough or didn't have the skill set to really hurt him or create any type of anxiety in there. Or I mean, he created discomfort because he took some of the space away from Gvozdyk, but in doing that, he didn't capitalize on taking some of the space away from Gvozdyk. Gvozdyk's first instinct was just to hold, and he just didn't know how to fight on the inside at all. He didn't know how to go back and reset and establish that range consistently. He looked like he fought in spurts. He never went in to try to take the guy out. It looked like he was content on fighting on the outside, throwing 1 or 2 punches at a time. He never really stepped on the gas. So I think the anticipation, I should say the expectation was higher, at least for me. And because he didn't live up to the expectation, probably that's what Jason is alluding to. It's not like he went life and death. He was in no danger in the fight. He never got hurt. He was never in danger of losing the fight. He may have lost 3 rounds, but he won the other 9. But he did not do what most people expected him to do. And even it was said during the broadcast that, you know what, he needs to learn how to do a little bit more on the inside, which he doesn't, which he didn't do.
Right.
Sorry about that. The cat just peed on the floor. Linda just yelled. I didn't mean to cause a ruckus here.
Fine, man.
That's like the 4th wall of the show where the cat just almost peed on the Beeb slipper.
Oh, can't have that.
He would have been out of here. He would have been out of there.
He would have been out of the house at that point.
He would have been out of there. He would have been on the porch. I don't care if it's below 0. He would have been on the porch.
Beeb's ruthless, boy. And I just got a text from PETA. I want to know your address, buddy.
Oh, my.
Robert, what were your thoughts on Gvozdyk?
Look, you know what? Yeah, he probably should have blown him out of there, but I think this is good for him because him and Beebald they remind me a lot of each other. You know, they've been blowing guys out a lot real early and, not going a whole lot of rounds. And I think for both of these guys, they need fights where they can go the distance. And, in Beebald's case, it took him 12 rounds to knock out, his opponent. And yeah, you know what? He didn't knock the guy out, but I think for young guys like this, they've got to go rounds. And I understand that 3 other light heavyweights turned down this fight because they didn't get offered, the money that they wanted. But, I like to see young guys like this actually go some rounds. And that way their trainers can go back and look at the film and show them, okay, this is what you need to work on. I think this fight can work as a good teaching tool for somebody like this, and he can improve on things that he needs to work on. So I'm not disappointed by this. Yeah, he won it 9 rounds to 3, but he did not go life and death. But I think this was a good fight for him to learn from, and so therefore I'm not unhappy with it.
Can I just interject one point here? The reason why I'm talking about versatility at this level, because in the light heavyweight division, there's no Andre Ward left. Make no mistake about it. But when you got a guy like Zurdo Ramirez in there, Gilberto Ramirez, and you got another guy like Bivol, both these guys can do it all. Like Bivol he's more of an outside guy, but he'll get inside and he'll rip the body. He'll dig. When you get close to him, he'll start dropping down and laying into your body. Ramirez, same thing. He's a tall, lanky guy, but he's not shy on the inside either. So that's why I'm saying, he's gonna have to. He's very highly touted, Bostic. He's got punching power. There's no question about it. He's got dynamite in the right hand. But when these guys get in his chest, and they're not going to accept the clinch, and they're going to be working on the inside, it's going to have some serious problems. Because this guy, like I said, he has been highly touted by a lot of people. Some people think he's the next best thing. I question that. I question that.
After this, for sure.
And even George Groves.
I really think he can learn from this. So
yeah, I think so too.
Well,
I don't think he's a bad fighter. I don't think
bad fighter, but
it's a good fight for him to have, and it's a good fight for him to go back to the gym and learn.
But this is my thing. This is my thing. A lot of these Eastern European fighters, these Russian fighters, whatever, extensive amateur backgrounds, right? So he may not have an inside game, and he may not at this stage, because he's been fighting one way for so long. fighting on the inside is a lost art in the sport of boxing, and not everyone can do it. And it's probably the hardest thing in the world to teach. And if you're deep in your career and you've had an extensive amateur background, I totally respect what Robbie's saying. He can get better, but he's not going to be able to develop an inside game at this stage that is going to be anything close to what it needs to be in terms of dealing with top level fighters. So I think he's going to have a lot of problems against the B-balls and the Ramirezes and even the George Groves. Because George Groves again is a guy who likes range. But if you saw him in the Eubank fight, he was still up close, hanging in there, throwing uppercuts, and he has a good body attack himself. And he hung in there with Badu Jack, who was in the trenches with him for a couple of rounds at certain spots in their fight. This guy, he just looked uncomfortable every time. The action got close, he grabbed and he kind of looked like it was a messy fight. He just looked very uncomfortable at that, in a lot of spots when the fight got close. And I think that's something that's going to be a problem for him moving forward. That's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong, but that's just what I see.
And the Ramirez fight was for
I totally
last night,
see
right?
where you're going, and I don't disagree with
yes.
you. That's just
vacant title.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the main event here. How about there was 2 title fights, and we had a main event that wasn't a title fight. In fact, the guy had 6 pro fights coming in, or 5 pro fights coming in. Michael Conlon versus David Berna. Michael Conlon won via TKO against David Berna. Conlon looks more impressive in each outing, man. He really does. He's really looking good. They've done a great job with his development so far. Each time out, I see Conlon maturing. He's getting better. I think he's developing faster than Shakur Stevenson, tell you that. Hopefully they continue to hopefully continue to just develop these guys, and no title shots are talked about anytime soon. Don't ruin them, man. Just let them keep on this course. Let them build slow, and when it's time, you'll know. The thing with Shakur Stevenson, is that he just doesn't have any power, and that's going to be a big deal. It really is. It's going to be a big deal as he moves forward.
Conlon's going to be more successful than Stevenson ever will, I think.
Yeah. Well, and Conlon's got a good gimmick too. I mean, he's got a good marketing gimmick with the St. Patrick's Day thing, and they know, like I said, I mean, he sold out the room last night. Now, granted, it was a small room at the Garden, but it's still, you're selling out that room. That's not cupcakes, man. A lot of people can't do that. No. Now let's talk about the upset of the night.
But
Felix, go ahead.
I was going to say, he did say after the fight, though, he wants his next fight to be in Ireland. So let's see if he gets that. Yeah. I mean, he would sell out. Surely sell out over there. Let's talk about the upset of the night. Felix Verdejo versus Antonio Lozada. Felix Verdejo, your boy, Robbie, was knocked out in the 10th round with only not mine
with only 23 seconds left. He was winning the fight on 2 of the 3 scorecards. Bob Arum had some harsh words for him after the fight. He said, Verdejo, I am so disappointed. After the 2012 Olympics, we signed 3 young men, Oscar Valdez, Jose Ramirez, and Felix Verdejo. And everybody at Top Rank felt that Verdejo was the best prospect. And look what happened. That's harsh, man. That is harsh.
But you think he was?
He also played Evel Knievel and had a motorcycle accident.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You think Bob Arum was a little bit upset with Verdejo because he felt as though he wasn't taking his career seriously and he wasn't really focused because obviously you shouldn't be on motorcycles when you're a world-class boxer because anything can happen. We saw it happen before, and he's been so inactive and just a lot of outside of the ring distractions and stuff like that. You think Bob Arum, that was kind of a dig, like basically to say to him, see what you get when you don't stay focused.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't sound too happy with him, man. He definitely doesn't. Nobody likes to sign like a young prospect that you think is going to go places and he just falls flat. Ain't good, man. That ain't good. There were 2 other fights on the docket from the land of the rising sun, and anybody who cares. Ryuya Yamanaka defeats Moises Calleros to retain the WBO 105-pound title. 105 pounds. Carlos Canizales defeated Rhea Konishi to win the WBA 108-pound title. Those are like jockeys, man. How much do jockeys weigh, Robert?
The most that they weigh is like 126, but a lot of them are smaller than that.
Yeah.
How much do you weigh, Robbie?
I'm in the Chocolatito weight class, so I'm small too.
Trying to set up a fight with you and Jason, but I think Jason's going to have to cut off one of his legs.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Maybe we'll give you. Maybe we'll give you like.
I know what I can do, and I know what I can't do. I can talk about it, but I can't actually do it.
We'll give you a weapon. How's that?
Give you a switchblade.
Yeah.
We'll give a taser. Let's give him a taser. One of those cattle tasers.
We'll give you Mjolnir. We'll give you a club.
Give him a club.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna have Freddie Roach come out and train you. There you go. You guys are right there in California.
Jason says he's almost 200 pounds.
Yeah.
How tall are you, Jason?
No. Hey, I know what I'm capable of, and fighting ain't it.
All right. Let's look at the upcoming fights here. Let's see here. March 22nd at Indio, California, ESPN2 or ESPN Deportes. Ryan Garcia versus Fernando Vargas, 10 rounds, junior lightweights. Let's see here. And then March 24th from Puerto Rico on ESPN, Jose Martinez versus Alejandro Santiago. It's a rematch, 10 rounds, junior bantamweights. Joshua Franco versus Lucas Fernandez, 10 rounds, junior bantamweights. On BN Sports from Mexico that same day, Ramon Alvarez versus the dreaded TBA. From Hamburg, Germany, will not be televised, but maybe you can catch it Box Nation or something like that, or YouTube. Tyrone Zuge, I think it's Zuge. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Versus Isaac Ekpo. It's a rematch, 12 rounds for Zuge's WBA regular super middleweight title. There you go. From London on HBO Saturday. This was just picked up by HBO. Dillian White versus Lucas Brown, 12 rounds, heavyweights. On the undercard, Frank Buglioni versus Callum Johnson, 12 rounds for Buglioni's British light heavyweight title. Let's see if there's anybody else. Anthony Fowler is on the undercard. He's a middleweight. A lot of these are TBA, so we'll see what happens with those. Frankie Gavin fighting in Birmingham that day. Again, not televised. And that's it for next week. Wow, what is going on? That sucks. But the week after is good, I promise you. That's when we got Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Parker. And that way you get to watch Titletown go all the way next week. You can just watch college basketball. Watch them go all the way to the finals. There you go. All right. Let's talk about this Dillian White-Lucas Brown fight. Anybody surprised that HBO picked this up?
A little bit.
Yeah, I am. I don't think it's an HBO quality fight.
Yeah, I want to see the fight, but yeah, I was surprised that I was surprised and not surprised in the sense that Eddie Hearn has got to deal with HBO now, but this is not like the fights we were hoping for, I guess. Not now. Is HBO actually going to send Jim Lampley and company over to London, or are we going to get the Sky Crew? Well, I don't know that you'll ever get the Sky Crew to do it. I think, if they don't go over to London, they'll do it simulcast in the sense that they'll be in a studio announcing the fight. You won't get to hear,
because I got to give credit to Showtime, Eric. Whenever they don't send the Showtime crew over there, we do get the Sky broadcast.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get some news and rumors, and then we're going to go to the phones. Sergey Kovalev and Marcus Brown is getting close. Dan Raphael is reporting that Kovalev versus Brown is very close to being signed. Now, Beeb had just said that he just read that the fight is actually signed. It's done.
On Boxing Scene 4 hours ago, they put out an article saying that the fight was signed, but they just don't have a date yet.
Yeah. So I'm thinking June or July. I heard June or July was a target date. A lot of people were thinking Bivol for Kovalev, but honestly, man, I like this fight more. It's a very interesting fight. Sergey Kovalev and Marcus Brown. This is a big fight for Kovalev, especially coming back after he just got trashed by Andre Ward. This is a big deal, man. This is do you like this fight, Beeb?
I love this fight. I like Marcus Brown a lot.
I do. I
really do.
I think it's a good fight, man.
It's going to be interesting, this one.
Yeah. This is pretty cool.
He may be able to pull off the upset here. Well, and here's another question for you, Eric. It would be, I think you could call it an upset. He will be the underdog, but will it be a major upset or a minor upset? How big of an underdog do you think this, he would be? What do you think the line would open up at for this fight? I'm guessing maybe
200.
Yeah, 2.5 to 1, maybe.
Yeah,
possibly.
I don't think it's like that big of a mismatch. I'll tell you that. I mean, he should be favored. Kovalev should be favored.
Yes,
but it's not going to shock me if Brown beats him.
Who wins, guys? Tell me in the chat who wins, Brown or Kovalev.
Right.
I'm curious to see what the consensus is out there.
Yeah, Brown's a good fighter. He's slick. He's got power.
Yeah, he's a good fighter, man.
He's got the style to bother Kovalev.
Yes,
he really does.
I think it's good for both fighters. I like this fight.
Yeah, it's an awesome fight. Georgie, I see you in the queue. We'll get to you in a few. Now, Vasyl Lomachenko and Jorge Linares is set for May 12th. Vasyl Lomachenko will face Jorge Linares on May 12th. A lot of people very critical of Lomachenko and his competition. I don't really get it, but hopefully this will answer a lot of questions. I think this fight is going to be a complete walkover for Lomachenko. I think he murks Linares. I think he makes him quit. I don't think this fight sees a 12th round.
Wow.
Yeah, it's over. It's all over.
Wow.
Lomachenko
and this will be in the big room at the Garden, and he's going to sell the place out. And this is a very easy fight for Lomachenko. This will not go the distance.
No, easy.
Robbie, so both of you guys don't think this fight will have any competitiveness to it at all?
None.
No, I think Beeb. I think it'll be competitive, but I think Lomachenko is just too much.
Let me tell you what, Linares won't win 2 rounds.
Wow.
Not 2.
Okay. Could be right. I mean, this Lomachenko cat's for real, but we'll see.
Now, I laugh because here Jason was texting me all week. I let him know this on like Monday or Tuesday that this is going down. He sends me about 50 videos telling me why the fight won't happen. Of course, the fight gets signed. Don't believe the videos, son. Terrence,
Jason,
go ahead.
I was going to say one thing, Jason. In any situation or any story, there's going to be one side and there's going to be the other side. It's like vegans and meat eaters. A vegan will give you 10 clinical studies, and a meat eater will give you 10 clinical studies. But guess what? The clinical studies are funded by vegans on the vegan side, and the clinical studies are paid for and sponsored by meat eaters on the other side. So depending upon your source, you're going to get a story that's going to be beneficial to whoever that person favors or is biased towards. Just common sense.
Exactly. Don't believe everything you hear.
Like Steve Kim is never going to write a positive article about a PBC fighter ever in his life. No. Ever. And I like Steve Kim. Don't get me wrong.
He does like Errol Spence. He likes certain fighters, but he would never write a positive.
Never go out of his way to do a piece on them or do anything positive. Just the way it is.
Yeah, and people are biased, and that's okay. That's okay. But we try to leave those at the door so we can get you, the best stuff. You know what I mean? So we hopefully leave it to you to make your own opinions. But we're guilty of it too. We're guilty of it too. In a sense that it just is what it is. So.
Look, each person that does this, whether it's a podcast, writing, whatever, they all have their own opinions. And it's kind of like who you listen or watch whoever you like. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all going to have our biases. Don't get me wrong. We're all going to like certain styles, certain fighters, and stuff like that. But I will give credit where credit is due. I was a little pissed off with PBC, but how can I be angry about this upcoming Showtime schedule? I can't criticize. This is beautiful.
It's good.
Beautiful.
Fights we want to see. Some are great fights. Some are just, okay, but they're good fights. I would rather watch this than the old. Again, I'll always go back to this. I'd rather watch this than the old fights on Tuesday night or Friday night.
I agree with you 150%.
Yeah, no. And right now, Showtime is kicking ass in the boxing schedule part. They're they're even doing better than ESPN right now. So, you know, you know, well, we may not like some of the things, some of the fights that are being put together. We may not like how they're done, but we got to be honest here. Right now, Showtime is the top dog when it comes to putting on fights, you know.
Well, we're already 3 months in, and I'm going to be 110% honest with you right now. That ESPN card last night was the first card that I enjoyed top to bottom. I thought it was a great card.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I watched all the fights. I watched every fight in the entirety. Yeah, that
was probably their best card of the year.
Yeah.
We're already 3 months in. Meanwhile, Showtime has been hitting it out of the park straight from Jump Street. So,
yeah, exactly. Wood is in the chat, and he just brought up a really good point about Beeb being biased, and he's very biased against Teddy Atlas. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I don't like Teddy Atlas.
Oh, I agree with Beeb on that one, Eric. So, you know.
Teddy Atlas gets no love. He gets no love here except from you, Eric. That's
right. That's right. That's all he needs. There it is. All right. Terrence Crawford has a hand injury. His fight is delayed. Terrence Crawford versus Jeff Horn is officially on hold. Top-ranked promoter Bob Arum announced on Wednesday that the scheduled WBO welterweight title fight has been postponed due to an injury to Crawford's right hand. The bout was scheduled to take place on April 14th as a main event of Top Rank, ESPN Las Vegas. Arum told ESPN the fight will be moved to either May 19th or early June and will also take place in Las Vegas. There you go. Let's go to the phones here. 937. 937, you're live.
Hello, Wood.
What's good, fellas? What's good?
What's up?
Wood, what's up, my brother?
Wood is part of Titletown. Wood, what do you think of UC and Xavier? They're killing everybody.
I think Xavier could be the next number one out.
Ooh.
What?
How's that for a shot, Eric?
I mean, don't get me wrong. Xavier is one of my teams that I rock with every year, but I just don't. The guard play is a little suspect to me.
Come on, Wood. What about UC? UC's killing them. Up by 21 right now.
He just hit you way below the belt, son.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Dayton's not in it. I get it.
No. I'm in the choir. I'm in the choir with Eric on the UC and Xavier, but I just think in all this transpired thus far in the tournament, I just don't see Xavier having a great dynamic point guard, and that's kind of what you need in the college game.
Wood's a nervous Nelly. Wood, you got no reason to worry. We're going all the way, buddy. They'll be in the Final Four together.
Dream on, Eric. Dream on.
Why you disregard my invite to get in my bracket for the podcast, man?
Your invite for what?
I know. Say what?
What was this now?
I sent you an invite to participate in my my bracket challenge for my podcast.
I apologize.
I didn't take it personal.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't even remember seeing it, to be honest with you.
I mean, I know my text comes second to Jason's. You know, no big deal.
Absolutely. Just a quick update.
Hey,
just a quick update on the.
I'm not gonna take.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say a quick update. North Carolina
lost. What's a quick update?
North Carolina lost, and UC is up now by 22. So there you go. And UNC is now out.
I'm glad to see Carolina out.
Oh, what's the matter with you?
Carolina hurts because I made up a little ground when Michigan State got booted, and then I didn't have UNC going to the Final Four, I don't think, but I needed them to do a little bit of work to get me back in the picture. But with them dropping out, the only thing I have saving me is I have Villanova winning it all. So I think I'm gonna lose my own bracket, but I'll be in the middle of the pack, maybe top of the middle of the pack. Let me ask you some strategy questions, and maybe this might be for you. I know we look at like situational plays in the major sports, situational football, situational basketball, and baseball. with Verdejo, could he have made a decision? You know, he didn't have any answers for Rosado Jr. And I know boxing, you know, everybody's not quick on their feet as far as thinking, you know, through every situation, like Mayweather and some of the other Andre Ward, you know, some of those guys. But could he have taken a knee before the first knockdown and kind of really tried to regroup and just bet on the fact that he may have been ahead on the cards, or that, you know, maybe he could salvage a draw or something, but just buy himself to like fully recoup before he took that big left hand and got in all kinds of trouble?
You know, he probably could have, but this is the thing. When you're not used to being down like that, then a lot of times guys just don't think about it. Like, I'm sure this guy is as big and great of an amateur career he's had, probably never been put in that situation before. You know, Andre Ward, he got knocked down as an amateur. He got knocked down as a pro early in his career. And you know, when you saw how he reacted when he got knocked down by Kovalev, how he made sure he took his time getting up. Maybe Verdejo just wasn't prepared mentally for the moment. And as you said, situational intelligence. Instinctively, he didn't know what to do. He wasn't thinking, maybe let me stay down there and regroup and gather myself. So he's probably just not built that way, Wood. That's an excellent question. I think obviously if you do take the knee and you wait till the 8 count, you know, goes, you know, the referee does the 8 count, gives yourself the best opportunity and the longest amount of time to obviously recover. But guys just don't think like that. They just don't take the knee. They don't sit there. You know, a lot of times guys fight off emotion. Guys fight with pride. And by taking a knee, that's a sign of reservation to some guys instead of strategy. It's like filing bankruptcy. Everyone thinks when you file bankruptcy, I know I'm using a lot of analogies here. I'm all over the place, but people will say Donald Trump filed bankruptcy 3 or 4 times. But you know what? In business, filing bankruptcy is a strategy. You know, you file bankruptcy, you file Chapter 13, and you don't have to pay the full amount. You only have to pay a percentage, and it gives you the opportunity to save some money. And then the money you save, you throw back into the company. Same thing with taking a knee. Sometimes people look at that as a less than honorable thing to do. Hey, you're taking a knee. You can't take the punishment. But it's just something you do at the moment to get returns later. You know what I'm saying? You got to think, and that goes back to thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead. You know, I'm sorry I'm kind of dragging this out a little bit, but it was such a great question that I really wanted to kind of elaborate on it. But that's my thoughts on that.
Now, you know, it's not my thing to really call in here and clash with you guys and kind of get too controversial unless I'm getting on Eric about trying to speak highly on Rigging the Yow at the end of that Loma fight. But no, and my only other point was I'm glad to see Brown get this fight with Kovalev. I just wonder if he's really motivated right now, and he hasn't had a path with a lot of resistance in it these last 2 fights with Monahan and the last guy. I think he might have been from Canada or something. So I just wonder, you know, I'm rocking with him in that fight, but I just wonder if you know, it was only a couple of fights before that where the one guy with the crazy last name had him in trouble, you know, a couple of times in their fights. So I think he needs to proceed with caution, you know, and stay, you know, he jumped on his last guy in the first round. And I just think, I would expect that he's aware of who he's dealing with and that he would, you know, get into Kovalev, you know, with the right game plan. And like I said, proceed with caution. But I'm just, I still wonder if he kind of has, you know, he hasn't really went through the wars that Kovalev could possibly present. But then again, I'm not so big on Kovalev right now, coming on the heels of the 2 fights with Ward, even though he got back with these last 2 fights. But that's a great matchup. I'm glad to see him getting back in it. And then another fight that I'm really excited to see, and I like the trash talk that's going on already, is Julian Williams and Nate Gallimore. With that fight being made at 154, I think it's going to be pretty exciting. And that's kind of all I was calling in to chat with you guys about.
Good deal. Good deal, Wood, man. Good call. And make sure to listen to Wood's podcast also. And Wood, where can we catch you at?
Man, just check me out at Round by Round Boxing right now. I was gonna tell you, I was gonna text you, Eric. I just got into the new crib and everything, so I'm slowly getting set up. I don't even think I've done a podcast in 2018, but I got a couple more adjustments to make in the room down here, and then I'll be back. I'll get back to being more consistent.
Wood still got to soundproof the walls and everything, get everything ready, and he'll be back in business soon. There you go. Round by round boxing.
Get my hustle and flow on.
That's right. All right, Wood. We're going to get running, man. Thank you so much for the call. Let's see here. Area code 805. Is this Arizona? 805. You're live.
No, it's California.
California.
It's Mr. Nacho. Hello.
Nacho.
Hey, guys. What's up?
How are you, man?
What's up, Nacho?
Nothing much. As far as the fight this last night, I kind of agree a lot with what you guys said. For Gvozdyk, it's funny. I did read a lot of people on a few different websites, on a few different boxing sites were criticizing him for having gone the distance with this guy. But I have to agree with you, Robbie. I don't think going the 12 rounds is going to hurt him in the long run. It can only help him, because blowing out dudes out of the water every single time you fight eventually leads to bad habits and overconfidence. So I think with him not being able to just walk through this guy and blow him out in 5-6 rounds like he had with some others, I think it's only going to benefit Gvozdyk in the long run. And for Jason and some of these other people to say that he went life and death with the guy, that's just hilarious, because I thought Gvozdyk won the fight easy by 6 rounds. I didn't think the other guy really did much of anything except survive here and there when he could. And as far as the off-TV stuff that I got to see yesterday, man, Verdejo, I always liked that kid from the beginning when they signed him, and I watched all of his fights. I watched all of his fights coming up on Solo Boxeo and a couple of the other platforms that Top Rank had him on. And I thought when the kid got to about 16, 17 and 0, I really thought he was going to go places at that point. I thought he's maybe 2-3 fights away from being a legit contender and maybe even a star. But it's unbelievable how that kid's fallen apart in the last 2 years. Just a lot of bad habits. I think a lot of yes men, a lot of dumb decisions like the motorcycle incident, and also not willing to leave that trainer of his. I mean, watching that fight last night, it just seems like he's gotten worse over the last probably year and a half. I've seen him fighting since probably since the end of 2015 was the last time I think he had a really good performance, because he just looks like a guy who legitimately did not want to be in there last night. He was just moving and moving, never really sat down on his punches, expended way too much energy, was dancing all over the ring. And basically Lozada, which I was shocked that Top Rank approved him as an opponent, because I had seen that kid fight for a few years in Mexico, and he's huge as a 35er. And the kid has some legitimate, heavy hands. And it was funny because the first 4 rounds, Verdejo was hitting him and couldn't really do anything to him. And you could just see Lozada was slightly touching him. And as the fight went on, you could see Verdejo's face was just getting busted up more and more. And then in the 7th round, when Verdejo decided to stand his ground and tried to actually exchange, and he hit him with his best shot, and Lozada took it and just kept coming, I think Verdejo just saw the writing on the wall and said, I'm screwed. He's all, because I can't hurt this guy. And sure enough, Lozada just kept hitting him, and he just took a beating in there the last last 2 rounds and a half before they ended up stopping the fight. And I was shocked because I did not pick Lozada to win that fight. I thought the kid would give him a fight, but I didn't think he was going to win the fight. But, man, it's a good thing for him. He knocked him out because it looks like Verdejo was going to walk away with a split decision according to the judge's cards.
2 of the 3.
Which is insane to me because I didn't think that Verdejo was up in that fight. I thought Verdejo was down, to be honest. But it's a good thing that we avoided that controversy thanks to Lozada's right hand. And with the other 2 guys, with Diaz and Pedraza, they both did what they had to do against the guys they were in there. With Diaz, we don't really know what would have happened in his fight because the guy he was fighting was just, he had an awkward and ugly style. And it's a good thing for him that the guy hurt his hand and ended up having to be pulled out because I don't know if he would have gotten that guy out of there. I think that guy would have made it a really ugly fight and survived. So I was glad they stopped the fight when they did when he hurt his hand. Hopefully he gets an opponent that he can look better against in his next fight. With Pedraza, same deal, just kind of a shake off the rust after having sat out over a year. He did okay, but I don't know. I think he needs a couple more fights, I think, before you can start considering him to be a contender at 35 because the guy he fought was just a tough journeyman who was there to give him rounds, but Pedraza didn't really do anything great. And then as far as the Imam fight and Ramirez, I was picking Ramirez to win that fight, but I thought he was going to win, a pretty close decision. And in my opinion, he pretty much walked away with that fight 9-3. I thought he outclassed Imam from the beginning. Imam was trying his hardest to keep him off of him, but he just couldn't. Ramirez is just too tough, too big, and too strong, and he walked through pretty much anything that Imam threw at him. And Ramirez was killing him to the body with the left hooks and the shots right in the stomach and to the side of the body. And Imam just couldn't do anything to keep him off of him. And by the end of the fight, you could just see Imam's face was battered and bruised. And it's a good thing that Ramirez, they took their time developing the kid because even though he was an Olympian, he didn't look like he was going to be anything special from having watched him for a few years. But now he looks like he's going to be a legit threat at 40. And I agree with Robbie. I think him fighting Prograis should be the next fight. But apparently Arum is trying to convince DeBella to do a double header in Fresno where they fight separately. And then eventually they'll fight each other. But we'll see if that happens. And Conlon, I agree with you guys. I think he's gotten better in every fight since his debut. The only thing I don't like is him constantly switching trainers. Like, hopefully this switch now with Booth is the last switch he makes for a while because, going from trainer to trainer is never a good thing as a fighter. And I hope that he finally decides to stick with Booth for a while, and hopefully Booth can smooth out some of the rough edges on Conlon's inside game and shows him how to throw a bit stiffer jab and, how to work on the inside. And, he looked okay, but I definitely want to see him in there against some better competition because looking at the guy's record he fought last night, that guy was tailor-made for Conlon. So we'll see what happens with Conlon.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
I saw that thing about
you said his record was tailor-made.
What happened?
You said his record was tailor-made. He was 15 wins, 14 knockouts. I mean, he only had 3 losses.
Yeah, but
and going against a guy that only had 6 fights.
But if you look at the level of his competition, there's not one recognizable name on there.
Well, there's not
one. It was just a bunch of guys that he fought.
Right, but there's not one on Collins either.
So,
but you got to take the experience factor. I mean, a guy that's been in there 15 times, that's, for a guy that's only been in there 5 times to fight somebody on that level, that's pretty, man, that's a step up. I think that's a step up. But I do agree with you in the sense that he's got to, they got to continue stepping him up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I give him credit. He won the fight and he was impressive, but they got to get a little bit better level of competition for him, I think, especially since he's not like Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson's only 20 or 21 years old. Conlon's already in his mid-20s, and he's got a little bit more of a physical development going on already. I think it's time for him to be moved along a little faster than Stevenson has to be. And then I heard you guys talking about the Marcus Brown, Sergey Kovalev fight. I think that's a good fight. Also, from what I've read, it says that it looks like it might be June 23rd, and it's going to be most likely in New York again. I like that fight. The only question I have about Marcus Brown is, can he legitimately take a punch? Because in the one fight where he really had a tough time against this Croatian prospect that DeBella put him in there with a few years ago, he struggled against that guy, and he got knocked down a couple of times. And that guy wasn't a really heavy-handed guy like Kovalev. So it'll be interesting to see if Marcus Brown can take a legitimate shot, then I think he can beat Kovalev. But if Kovalev ends up touching him and really hurting him, that might be, over sooner rather than later. And then as far as the fights this weekend, I agree with you guys. There's not a whole hell of a lot to watch. And I'm with you guys. I was totally surprised that HBO said they were picking up this Lucas Brown, Dillian White fight. I really didn't think that was going to happen. So for them to put that fight on HBO was a pretty surprising development. I just honestly think the only reason they put that fight on there is because Hearn controls Dillian White, and they want to be in the Anthony Joshua conversation. So maybe they just did Hearn a favor by trying to expose one of his guys on American Airways in Dillian White. And we'll see what happens, but hopefully if Lucas Brown has anything left, this might actually be an entertaining fight this weekend.
I think so, too.
And
I think so, too.
Yeah.
All right, Nacho.
Yeah, that's it, guys. All right, guys.
Man, thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Nacho.
Good call. He's always a good, good, like a good opinion on what happened and stuff. He's always, No,
I mean, and Nacho watches everything. He studies everything. Yeah. That's the way a boxing fan should be. I always enjoy his calls.
Yeah, for sure. 602, you're live.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? It's Brandon from Phoenix. What's up?
Hey Brandon, what's up?
Nothing much, man. I'm just gonna keep it short, man. I'm gonna get into the main event for me was Amon versus Ramirez. I was disappointed in Amon, man. I don't think he really learned anything from his loss to oh god, I can't remember the guy's name right now. But what's his name, Robbie? Help me out.
Adrian Granados.
He lost to Adrian Granados.
Thank you. Yeah, but he lost basically in the same fashion, except he didn't get knocked out. He didn't improve upon his defense, and I mean, Ramirez. Hold on, baby, I'm on the phone. Ramirez was basically, a very good prospect. I've been watching him come up. I knew the guy had levels to his game, but to me, if Amon just could have kept his hands up, he could have made it more competitive. I don't know if he would have won the fight, but he would have made it more competitive. He just has those James DeGale problems where. He just has those James DeGale problems where he thinks his defense is better than what it is, and he thinks he's so slick he doesn't have to lift up his hands, and he relies too much on the shoulder roll. But that was my thoughts on that fight. And I'm just gonna comment real quick on the Lucas Brown, Dillian White fight. I like it. I think it's a good move for HBO to pick it up. I mean, tell me this: would you guys consider those guys both top 10 heavyweights?
Go ahead, Robert.
I don't know.
Dillian White.
Eric, what do you think?
Is Dillian White a top 10 heavyweight? Was that his question? Dillian White and Lucas Brown?
No, both of these guys. Do you think both of the guys are top 10 heavyweights?
I think Dillian White is. I don't know about Lucas Brown, but I think Dillian White is.
I think there's somewhere where you could say that he's probably that Lucas Brown. You could slide him into the bottom of the top 10. I don't think you could name 10 heavyweights unarguably that are better than Lucas Brown. Even though, he's up in age. I mean, his last fight was against Chagiev, am I right? And
remember, he also got popped for a PED recently, too. So.
Yeah.
That was for the Canelo, but no one cares about that.
Well, I think a lot of people care. It's just the money doesn't care, They're not stopping that fight.
Hey,
the fight's going to happen, and they're not stripping him of anything.
Yeah, so, I know. You're the European guy. Do you think both of these guys are in the top 15, top 10 heavyweights?
Oh, Beeb.
Yeah. I'm back. I think they're top 15, top 13. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Okay.
But again,
I'm having a hard time thinking of 10 people.
They're at the bottom. They're at the
It's not
bottom
put
level.
ahead of Brown.
Yeah, they're not top 10. They're just
Call
scraping.
me, Beeb. Say that one more time, man.
Oh, I'm saying they're not top 10. They're probably like the bottom end of the top 15, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, other than that, man, that's pretty much all I got for it, man. You guys keep the show rocking, man. I'll talk to you.
All right, man.
Okay,
Thank
see
you,
ya.
sir.
All right, man.
All right, let's go to area code. Quick update here. UC is up 73-68 with 2 minutes left. Let's go to area code 508.
Hello, Georgie.
Come on, soundboard. My soundboard's not working again.
That intro, Eric.
I'm
It
trying.
ain't work. Eric's falling down.
From this day,
There we go.
Once again.
There we
from
go.
this day, you'll be my new fool.
I had to hit that button. I had to hit the button no less than 5 times.
What's happening, people?
What's up, man?
Eric, you got the check. You heard my name and you got nervous. We understand. I'm gonna let it slide. It happened to the best of us. Respect. Listen, we be back. I put some work.
I'm here.
Beeb.
What's up?
Buddy, I seen the video that you did on Sean Porter. The whole thing is despicable. I could not imagine that you could make it that low. I just do not understand. Sean Porter got a legitimate reason not to fight Aerospin like anybody else. A legitimate claim. So what's good?
Well, you got to explain what that legitimate claim is.
Right. Yeah, what is a legitimate claim?
Yeah, because Georgia, I have no idea what you're talking about. So.
If it's so legitimate, then enlighten us.
You guys, this is yo, hold on, man. Listen, take out the fucking pen, man. Take out the pen, the pencil. Number 2, we're going to test a quick quiz. Because I come here many times talking about these mafia and the way they operate. So when Sean Porter is telling you, Ken Porter specifically, he's telling you how it's possible that he wasn't even ranking the IBM right after losing the fucking belt. That's a
no,
claim.
I understand all that.
But what a claim to make. So if I'm the Porters and I get fucked like that until these days I'm not even in the ranks, for some unknown reason to humankind and fucking Bumbito and Popi is in the fucking ranks before I even mentioned, how's that not a claim? Who else got something more solid than that to say, you know what, this isn't the reason why I don't want to fight these dudes? Because it's the goddamn belt, or you don't want the belt in the fucking middle? The paper's right, let's do it. That's what they saying. So what you saying, B?
What I said in the video was it wouldn't be hard for him to get ranked in the IBF because of the influence that Al Heyman has, number 1. And number 2, if they sign the fight, I'm sure they can petition for Sean Porter to be put in the top 10. Simple and plain.
But
Sean Porter doesn't want to fight him.
That don't put blame on their side. How that put blame on their side? The reason still stands.
Like I said, in my opinion, if the fight gets signed, I don't think it would be a problem getting Sean Porter ranked in the top 15. I don't think it would be a problem.
Beeb, I can see in a way where Georgie's coming from, because after Sean Porter lost to Cal Brook, the IBF completely removed him from the rankings and has never put him back.
Okay, but you guys. But wait a minute, you guys. You guys both remember when that did happen. Sean and Ken both were complaining, "Why aren't we ranked? We want a rematch." So he wanted a rematch with Kell Brook when Kell Brook had the IBF title, and he was complaining about it, and he was campaigning for it. Give me a rematch, get me back in the rankings. But now that Errol Spence has that IBF title, he doesn't even care about it.
So they walk out of there with an argument, a strong argument with a fucking L. And now, all of a sudden, they got to do a favor to please who? You, the IBF, to please who? The fans?
Well, I think that's what you have to do if you're a fighter, because the fans are the ones that buy the tickets. Yeah, you have to please the fans to some degree. I think that is important. I'm not saying if the fans tell you to jump off the bridge, you have to jump off the bridge, but
I know, Sean.
But you don't find it though. Wait a minute, answer the question. Answer this question.
So I don't know.
Answer this question. You don't find it odd? Wait a minute. You don't find it odd that when he wasn't ranked by the IBF after the Kell Brook loss, they both were complaining about it, and they was still were asking for the rematch with Kell Brook regardless, and he wasn't ranked in the IBF.
No, I do find that strange, Beeb.
So now all of a sudden that it's not Kell Brook anymore and it's Errol Spence. They're not complaining and they're not asking to be ranked now. They're not even making an attempt. You see what I'm saying? So
no, I don't find nothing strange about it. No, because I already got fucking the first deal. So now that they do it's even more danger than the rematch. Now I gotta do them a favor after you fuck me? No, thank you. Sorry, buddy. You should be, oh no fucking, listen, they already violated Sean. As simple as that. Sean got 1 point on his board, and now he's, that's the way I see it.
You do have a solid point.
Don't even got that argument. Anybody else don't even got that argument. So going after Sean, he's like, man, you could do this about fucking everybody then. Becomes DSG right out of the gate. Boom. Another evil.
Okay, but when you're complaining,
who's the evil one here? I am on back to the evil people.
But you're complaining nobody wants to fight you, though. You can't complain that nobody wants to fight you. And Errol Spence said he would, but you don't want to fight him. That's the thing.
Yeah, but he got that excuse, baby boy. He got that one in the bag. Like
Georgie, you're getting soft in your old age. You're changing things up a little bit. You used to be the guy that demanded good matchups. Now I think you're turning into Jason. I'm a little bit disappointed in you.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I will not watch no welterweight fight at all. Even if on Showtime that I'm paying for, I might as well Cody the shit, watch it on YouTube, some bullshit. But now watch it straight. Fuck that. No welterweights. I'm done with welterweights. Until all these divas don't fight each other, I'm done with that. Regardless. Even if Chung got a reason, but he got a reason, man. And you can make videos about any other motherfucker besides Sean.
Okay, Georgie, who do you want to see Earl Spence fight next?
Sean Porter? No. No, just messing with you. Listen, that would be, I would like to see a DSG, man, because it's certainly not going to happen. Listen, this is a fucking master get back into the mix. The WBC already say that he got Sean and DSG for tournament, right?
Right.
And there is no talk about unification because fucking Thurman got the tune-up and shit. So he got to do his tune-up before, so he can recuperate for the whole fucking injury. So the whole thing is not complicated. So that's why I really don't give a fuck until something that don't really happen. I can really care who fighting who. When something, we're going to find out. When it really happens, it happens. I want to see what people are going to say when they got to celebrate the IBF first contender. What is it, Jorge who?
I don't know. I bet. What did you think about last night's fights, Georgie?
Whoa, Verdero, man, he's Puerto Rican boxing dead. That's what's happening here. Eric, talk to me, baby.
How do you blow a 22-point lead in the second half? How on earth do you blow a 22-point lead and lose that game by 2? There is no reason for that. None.
See,
this isn't the second
really good.
shot.
They lost.
They lost. 22 points. They're leading by 22 in the second half, and these idiots can't close this game. Ridiculous.
We're in the middle of a boxing podcast, and he's worried about his basketball team.
Ridiculous. They just lost. They're out. Second round. Unreal. They need to fire their head coach.
Come on, Robbie, show some empathy for Christ's sakes.
Right. Exactly. Thank you, Beeb.
Show some empathy.
Thank you, Beeb.
You don't kick a man when he's down.
Exactly. Ohio is cursed. Jason just wrote the chat. Ohio is cursed.
Ohio State lost. Cincinnati lost. Yeah, there you go.
Unreal. I'm in the dumps now, Georgie. You need to pull me out. I have given you a job now. You need to pull me out of the dumps.
Listen, brother. What's going on with Puerto Rican boxing, buddy? Verdejo is like these guys. They just not. They don't got this defense back down.
They hyped up, but I tell you what, man, they put a lot of pressure on Verdejo at a very young age. They put a lot of pressure on Verdejo, you know. And the stuff that Arum said after the fight may have been really true, but I tell you what, man, that's not the kind of thing you say publicly. It's really not, because you don't kick a guy when he's down. You know, that's some hurtful stuff that he just said. That's harsh.
It's not the first time Arab's done that to his fighters too.
No, that's awful.
He's gonna stop doing like throwing people under the bus. These are guys that you promote. You're supposed to have their best interests at heart. Pull them aside, talk to them. You don't sit there and air out the dirty laundry. Every time he has a problem, he do it with Pacquiao. He did it with Cotto. Did it with Mayweather. Every time he has a problem with a fighter, he puts the dirty laundry out there. Even, you know who else does that a lot too? Dana White. Dana White trashes fighters a lot too.
Who you guys talking about?
Bob Arum
was talking shit.
Georgie.
Bob Arum.
Now Bob, the reptilian. Not Bob. Do you see? Yo, that was some funny shit. Do you see Bob Arum and dunking together, sitting together,
eating donuts, no less. Eating donuts, drinking coffee.
Listen, I never see so much villainy together in one spot. I thought the earth's gonna tilt. We're gonna eclipse or some shit. A tsunami gonna happen. Something.
I almost went to Dunkin' Donuts last night, watching them eating those beautiful donuts.
Right.
Beautiful donuts.
How many bodies you think these people got together?
Oh
man, and they're just there laughing like nothing. Gotta love it, brother. Gotta love it. Well, that's my call. Everybody out there, support, give the time up, and I'll catch you guys next week.
Georgie, the man. Good job, buddy. All right, let's see here. Who do we got next? 312. 312.
Is that a new caller? Is that a new caller?
That'd be Fight Doctor in the house.
Is that Fight Doctor? 312 in the house.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Yes.
I hear you loud and clear, my friend.
Fight Doctor in the house on Rick James status as always.
Nice.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Hey, it's a good doctor.
Doctor is in.
All right, so I want to address this whole Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, did he get a restraining order?
That's what I heard. Restraining order against I would love that.
I mean, listen, I thought that we were grown men, okay? And, how old is Anthony Joshua? 26, 27?
27.
Yeah, 27.
Isn't that a little too old to be hiding behind mom's skirt?
Yes.
I don't want him coming into the ring. No. I mean, come on.
That's an odd thing to say.
Aren't you supposed to be the unified heavyweight champion of the world? Aren't you supposed to be the number one heavyweight in the world? Listen, guys, if this isn't a if this is not a clear indication that not only does Hearn not want to fight, Joshua really doesn't want to fight. They're ducking, gentlemen. Okay? They're ducking. Listen, if there are any boxing fans in the UK who are listening to this podcast, I have a question for you guys. Why are you allowing this sham of a heavyweight
to call himself the heavyweight champion of the world while he resides on your island. Okay? You guys should be questioning this man's, I'm sorry, you all should be questioning this fraud's manhood because this is fraudulent. It is. This is crazy. You don't want the man to come inside the ring. You don't want to, I mean, come on, guys. This is worse than the ducking Arum and Pacquiao did to Mayweather back in 2009. This is 10 times worse. Okay? And that was a ducking. Okay? Yeah, this is, yeah, you know, people, yeah. Seldom is the fight doctor left without words. This is one of those moments. Honestly, I don't know what to say. I don't, what are we watching here? What are we seeing here? What's happening?
Beeb, you're the Eddie Hearn guy. You're the UK guy. What's up here?
When I talked about this, it's almost as like Joshua just has this attitude towards Wilder. Either he's too good to even talk about the guy, like he puts himself above the guy, or it just makes him look like he's concerned about the guy in some way. I don't want to call anyone a coward, say anyone's a ducker, but he is not showing any enthusiasm towards putting this fight together. And the fight starts before the first bell rings. And part of that is promotion. Promotion is very important. And, you know, Deontay Wilder is the biggest self-promoter out there. I don't think, with all due respect to Lou DiBella is the promoter in name, but he gets you the date, and then it's basically that's it. He's achieved his goal. Deontay Wilder's out there giving interviews. He's saying all the right things. He's really starting to resonate with boxing fans. He's got a movement now. People are behind this guy. He's the people's champion right now. People who really weren't behind him before, were critical of the resume, they're on the Deontay Wilder bandwagon. They're on the Deontay Wilder train. So he's making this fight big. And I think this fight is the biggest fight in boxing when it happens. I know it's going to happen. I think this fight is bigger than Canelo Triple G. I think this fight will do great revenue. But, you know, Anthony Joshua has to do his part. Eddie Hearn has even said on occasions he loves what Deontay Wilder's doing. And he says, when I want Joshua to do things like that, have him make appearances, I have to drag him out of the house. I have to really beg him to do it. That's just not his thing. He wants to stay in the gym all day. But, you know, you're a fighter. You're a big-time fighter on top of that. And part of that is allowing things like this to happen because it enhances the promotion. It enhances the hype. It enhances the significance of the fight. It gets people excited for it. You want to talk about Tyson Fury. That's a domestic level fight. This fight right now with Wilder can be an international success. Okay? It's like that. I'm dropping a lot of analogies here, but that movie Colors, when Coach E says to Sean Penn, do you want to run down there and get one cow, or do you want to walk down there and get them all? You're going to get UK in the United States. With Fury, you're just going to get UK. With Fury, you're just going to get UK. Why not go for the whole ball of wax, Daddy? Let's get it done, Eddie. I gotta call him tomorrow, man. I'm gonna be on the one tomorrow. I really gotta get involved in these negotiations. I'm getting tired of it.
I don't understand what's going on here, because remember after Canelo beat up Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., what was the first thing he did after the fight? He invited Triple G into the ring and announced the fight.
Because the fight was already made.
I don't get it here. You know, I really don't get what Joshua's up to, because, you know, this might open the door for Joseph Parker to take advantage of Joshua being distracted. Think about that.
No, I get what's going on here. What's going on here is that Deontay Wilder apparently has spooked Anthony Joshua. Okay? I mean, what else is there? What else is there? I just can't see anything else. Okay? It's a big money fight. I mean, listen, outside of the Tyson Fury fight, I think this is probably the biggest money fight to be made in the heavyweight division.
Bigger than that. It's bigger than that. Bigger than that fight, I think. bigger than the Tyson Fury fight, I think.
Well, it's definitely a bigger fight in America. Okay. It's definitely a bigger fight in America. There's no question there. So the money is there. Wilder is a legitimate contender. In fact, I think I would make the argument at this point that the Ortiz win is better than the Klitschko win. So I think the argument can be made that Wilder is the legitimate number one heavyweight in the world. That argument can be made, in my opinion.
Both of these guys are 1 and 2. They're 1 and 2 right now.
Yeah, I would say that.
I'm sorry, Fight Doctor. I'm getting a little emotional.
If we go with the conventional thinking and we put Joshua as the number one heavyweight in the world, Wilder is the clear number 2. All right?
Without a doubt.
Clearly the number 2 heavyweight in the world.
Without a doubt.
So here you have a legitimate number 2, number 1 heavyweight in the world calling your name, and you're the unified champion, and you want to go run and hide behind your promoter's skirt. It's not a good look. Okay? Not a good look. British, UK fans, you really need to be questioning the manhood of your hero, because right now he's looking like a little bitch. Honestly, seriously, the man's looking like a bitch.
Fight Doctor, let me just say one point. They invite Deontay Wilder over to the UK to sit in the booth with the Sky Sports broadcasters every time Joshua fights. So there's a plan in the works. They want him near because Sky Sports wants this fight. Even Sky Sports wants this fight. He's going to go there, have a press pass on, okay? And he can't go in the ring. Does Anthony Joshua even have the right to say, I don't want? He doesn't have to talk to him. He can turn his back to him if he wants. But does he even have the right to say, I don't want this guy in the ring? He's part of the broadcast team, for Christ's sake. Why can't he go in the ring?
This time around, Beeb, Wilder will be working with the Showtime crew.
He's going to be in the UK, Robbie. Is the Showtime crew going over? Are they going over there? Are they going over or are they simulcasting? Because the Showtime crew usually doesn't go over. They simulcast it.
No, they're going to be there for this. They're going over.
But Wilder will be there, right? I think Wilder will be there.
Yeah.
But Wilder has sat in that Sky Sports booth numerous times. Numerous times.
Yeah, I don't know that the Showtime crew is going over there, but I don't think
the Showtime crew is going over. I think he's been invited by Sky.
Yeah.
He's been invited by Sky, Robbie. Showtime's not going over.
Okay, well, I heard that he's going to be in the Showtime broadcast booth because they are going to be there.
You're 100% certain on that?
Yeah, that's what I've read. That's what I've heard. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but
I'll have to do some more research. Go ahead, Fight Doctor. I don't want to steal your shine. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't think Sky Sports has the wherewithal to make the final decision if Wilder gets to enter the ring. I think that's probably Eddie Hearn. He probably has the final say. And I'm thinking that, if his fighter is saying, I want to hide behind your skirt, then, I guess it's Eddie Hearn's job to, pull out the tissue and wipe Anthony Joshua's nose and, powder him and change him, make sure he's nice and dry and, pamper him and, burp him, feed him his bottle, all that kind of shit. So, my expectation is that we will not see Deontay Wilder in the ring face-to-face with Anthony Joshua, a.k.a. Mommy's little bitch.
Decent. I get it,
with
man.
That, I'll leave you guys. I'll leave you guys to marinate on that for a while.
All right, man. Thank you, sir. Fight Doctor. Strong opinions as usual, but I'll tell you what, I can't. I'm not hating the call. I'll tell you that. I'm not hating the call because I'm not disagreeing too much.
I'm not either, because Joshua did come out and say publicly he did not want Wilder in the ring. And that's what. And then shortly after that, I read that Showtime will be there and he will be in the booth. Al and Paulie and Morrow, so the 4 of them will be at the table.
That's a bad look.
I tell you, and I understand it. I understand it from the point of, well, maybe he doesn't want a confrontation in there or like a WWE kind of thing. I get that, but that's not something you come out and say. You know what I mean? That's not something you come out and say. You're supposed to be the baddest man in the world. That's not something you don't come out and say, I don't want him in the ring with me. You know, if he's
I've been a Joshua supporter, but I've never heard anybody come out and publicly say, I don't want this man in the ring.
Right.
That really makes it look like you don't want to fight him.
Right, exactly.
He's going to get a restraining order against him. He's going to file it.
Right, exactly.
Wilder's going to come near him. He's going to pull the paper in front of his face.
You know, if you're going to play that card, and say, you know what, I don't want him in the ring, the way he should have went about it is, you know, I don't want him in the ring because, quite frankly, he doesn't deserve to be in the ring with me. You know, he doesn't have my kind of skill. He doesn't have my kind of talent. You know, there's no reason he needs to be in this ring with me. This is a champion's ring, not his ring. You know, and go something like that route. But don't, I mean, yeah, I mean, Fight Doctor is 100% on this, man. I mean, if you know.
No, but all three of us on of the opinion that Joshua is going to beat Parker, right? But now you have to wonder, is he distracted because of Wilder? Does this give Parker an opening to go in and actually win that fight next week?
No, Parker's not winning that fight next week. So Notorious VC in the chat said that the callers really should focus on cheering me up since UC lost. And you know what? I completely agree with him. And quite frankly, at this point, you guys have let me down on that. And that includes you, Robert. You have let me down. You know I'm broken up about this, and
that's okay.
You continue.
No.
I'm consoling you a little bit. I've consoled you a little bit.
I didn't mention your name because you've done a great job consoling me. Beeb has done a great job in consoling me. The co-host who cares about me has done a great job.
Oh, my God.
I had to deal with the Patriots loss, you know?
That's right. That's right.
You did not throw salt in the wound. You did not.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And from consolation, we go to this. If I can get the music to play.
He's a fucking mental case is what he is.
Robbie, please.
Robert, come on.
Wrong. Misinformation.
Robert, that's
a
terrible.
lot of fucking correction. Let me, I don't even know where to begin.
Terrible. Jason, what do you think about UC losing?
Eric.
What do you think about UC losing?
Let me just correct you guys before Robbie and you are saying with definite conviction that Danny was offered the fight. I just sent you an article where Aaron said I never offered Danny any kind of fight, and Thurman never mentioned Danny.
What was that article?
A bunch of videos on YouTube of Aaron saying Danny was never offered the fight.
What was the article? What was the video that you sent me earlier saying that Linares wasn't going to happen? That was by Igis Klimas or whatever. How'd that go down? Did they sign that fight? Beeb, I'm not sure. Did they sign that fight?
What does that have to do with? What does that have to do with? But what's the big deal about that? Who cares about that?
Fight? Beeb, is that
signed, sealed, signed, sealed, and delivered? 100%. It's happening.
There it is. All right.
Oh wow! two Hall of Famers fighting each other. Amazing.
All right, there you go.
And also, I don't think Broner and Danny were offered $4 million. They were offered around like $2-3 million. Broner was like, "I want $5." That's how I remember.
I heard Broner wanted $5. Anyway, but they weren't going to get it.
Yeah, and I remember that too. But anyway, another weekend, another Eastern European hype job promoted by Steve Kim University. Alex Gozdev gets exposed. My condolences to Steve Kim and Robbie Kim. That boy was getting pressed up like all fucking night, every round. Clean shot.
You said he went life and death with this guy? I had it like 118 to 111, 110.
Look at his face. Look at his face and look at his face and look at his opponent's face. His opponent looked clean, like clean as a whistle.
11, man.
Yeah, it was a whitewash, son.
No contest. He was fucking. Look at his face. Look at his face, dude. He looked like Elephant Man.
Yeah. He lost 2 rounds of that fight.
I mean, this guy is kind of like Feliz Verdeo too. He's been getting pushed down our throats, but he never really impresses unless he's fighting a total bum. He got dropped by Tommy Carpensy a couple of years ago, I remember, and now last night he was getting hit like clean shots, harder shots than he was landing all fucking night. So he's not going anywhere fast anyway. And if he fights Jack Stevenson next, he will get stopped.
I tell you what,
I pick Jack to beat him, stop him too, maybe.
I'd like to see him and Jack fight. That would be good.
Oh, I think Jack would have hurt him. I think Jack would beat him bad.
Jack's a good fighter.
He's got no.
I know Jack would
Jack would beat him bad. He's got no. This kid's got no inside game, Bostic. He's got no inside game.
Don't tell that to your boy Steve Kim, Robbie. He'll get pissed off at you because he's been promoting the nail for like 2 years, like he's a son.
Hey, Jason, if Steve asked me, I'd tell him.
Coming on the show,
because you were telling me to listen to his podcast. I listened to him enough to know that he is really high on Alex Guste because he's like best friends with Klimas, so he always promotes like every Klimas fighter. Anyway, also, dude, how did Ramirez fight for the title last night? I thought he was supposed to fight Imam for the spot to fight or to get the chance to fight for a title. How did that happen?
No, they fought for the vacant title, man.
But wasn't that
Amir Imam was ranked number 1?
Regis for the title? Wasn't that supposed to be like that?
No.
Regis is the mandatory challenger now.
Yeah.
And now Aram said on ES News that he wants him to fight on fucking Ramirez undercard. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that, and I disagree with that. I think Prograis and Ramirez should fight next.
Well, Ramirez may be having a
thing with WBC
Pacquiao.
Doesn't enforce any rules.
Yeah, Ramirez may be fighting Pacquiao, so I don't know. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know. I'd like to see. I'd rather see him and Prograis fight than him and Pacquiao fight.
That's right.
But the money's with Pacquiao.
Regis has earned that title shot
for sure. That's the better fight for sure.
What do you guys think about Adonis Stevenson and Jack? Is that fight being announced? Because that shit has taken too long.
That's May 19th, Jason. It's been signed for a while.
But it hasn't been announced officially, right?
No, most
other fights were, but like Kurt, Lara, and all the other ones.
They'll wait. Yeah, sometimes PBC will wait too. I don't know. I mean, sometimes like the fight will be set in stone, but sometimes they just wait. Yeah, sometimes they just wait. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that May 19th.
Also, Beeb, I saw your AJ video. I thought that was kind of weak sauce, man. You're pussyfooting around too much, like trying to make it seem like AJ doesn't have the authority to block Wilder from the ring. I mean, what world are you living in? AJ runs that whole show. If he tells Eddie he doesn't want Wilder in the ring, that's what's going to happen. So I didn't really like how you were playing. You were like kind of beating around the bush with that. I didn't really appreciate that.
What do you mean? I said it was a bad look.
You said, does he even have the authority to stop Wilder from the ring? Of course he has the authority. He's the star of the show. If he doesn't want somebody in the ring and he says, I don't want him, he's not coming in.
What do you mean he has the authority? He's not in charge of the production. He's not the promoter.
Hernan Bieber in charge of the
production. He is. The ring is protected by Matchroom bodyguards. Matchroom has the same bouncer that stand around the ring protecting AJ every fight. Same guys.
So if Eddie decides that Wilder can come in the ring and Joshua says no, who do you think wins?
When does Eddie go against AJ? When does Eddie ever go against AJ? Why would he ever go against what AJ wants? Come on,
Jason. Jason, I think he will this time. I think Wilder will.
No. He was protecting AJ when he was calling white people inferior. He said no, he didn't do that. Remember? He said that was hack. Come on, man.
Okay, so what happens?
It's his job to protect AJ. Let's not be fooled.
So what happens if Wilder goes in the ring? Then what's going to happen? Does he go to jail?
Well, he was just
come on. I mean, I'm sure he'll just be like Miller. They'll just stop him at the entrance if he tries to go in. But don't. And also, you said he's going to have a press pass. There's a lot of people that have a press pass. That doesn't mean they have ring access. You can't just walk in.
They have different press passes. If you have a press pass that enables you to be on the floor, and you're part of the broadcast team, then you can go in the ring.
Broadcast team never gets in the ring. Only one person from Sky Sports is allowed in the ring. That white kid, that short white dude that never asks AJ any tough questions. You know what I'm talking about. He always asks those softball questions. He's the only one besides the boxers teams that are allowed in the ring. That's it.
So you mean to tell me that after that Super 6 Cruiserweight tournament, when they brought, what's his name? What was the guy's name they brought in the ring to face off? For the cruiserweight.
He was brought in by the promoters. The promoters brought him in. Promoters were like scouts.
Okay, you just said the promoter brought him in. So if Eddie Hearn says it's okay because he's the promoter, that Wilder can come in the ring, then he can come in the ring.
Very true.
But I don't even remember Eddie ever saying that he should come in the ring. I think us American fans have just been saying Wilder should go in the ring. I never heard Eddie saying, "Oh, Wilder should get in the ring and get in AJ's face." I never heard Eddie say that shit either. When did he say that?
Well, what did Joshua exactly say?
Eddie has also said, Jason, that he likes what Deontay Wilder's doing. So I don't think he'll stop him.
Yeah, he will. Come on. Andy's saying Miller is next. Andy's also said, what was he going to fuck? And he's been saying Miller's next also. We all know after the Vlad fight. Remember Max Kellerman asked AJ, do you have any message for American fans? He's like, shout out to Shannon Cannon Brings. What's up, champ? Let's go, champ. Max was like, I was hoping he was mentioning Wilder. He's like, you know, Max, we don't duck or dodge anyone. 20 fights, I just beat Vlad, but I won't be rushed. Maybe we'll fight down the line. And that's it. That's all he said. And that's the same shit they've been saying. Maybe in 2019, 2020. Then Barry Hearn came out last month and said this fight will not happen in 2018. So everybody from their camp has been saying this fight is not after Parker. And still, us American fans are giving him so much benefit of the doubt. I just don't like that. We're all over Thurman. Who's our guy, who just beat Porter and Danny back-to-back and he's injured. But we're going to give fucking Joshua the benefit of the doubt for some reason. I don't get that.
Well, Jason, do you think Joseph Parker beats Joshua and messes this whole thing up?
Joseph Parker was getting touched up all 12 rounds by Andy Ruiz and took him like
I agree with that. I watched that fight. I agree with that.
That's the only reason they're going, because AJ's been going after the weakest belts. First he went after Martin. Then also I had another question. For the Vlad fight, were there any belts on the line besides the Martin belt, or did they put up like a new belt for that fight? Did they make up a belt for that fight?
I don't remember that. It's been too long.
What is this now?
Does anybody? Beeb or Eric?
What?
Did they make a belt for that fight, just for that fight? Or only AJ's IBF belt from Martin was on the line for that fight?
No, the IBF belt was on the line.
IBF. That was his first title. That was AJ's first title, was at IBF with Martin.
Charles Martin.
No, but I'm saying for the Vlad fight. Did he win the title for the Vlad fight? Did Vlad have any title?
No, they won the vacant WBA title. They made the WBA title be vacant.
That's right.
Okay, so he got a fake belt from Martin that he didn't really have to fight for. He fought like a one-legged guy through 2 punches. Then he got a vacant belt from Vlad. Now he's going after the third easiest belt in the division, which is Parker. And Wilder has to wait. Well, I mean, the toughest belt has to wait. What does that sound like to you guys? What does that sound like?
Not a good look.
With the easy belt, come on, we're ready to fight. But the guy that's had to have the toughest roads, Wilder's had tougher fights than Parker for sure. And I think he's fresher than Vlad, so he has to wait, but nobody else has to wait. What's up with that?
He's had tougher fights.
Good look.
That's
not a good look. I can't defend it.
It's not. Yeah, it's not.
I can't defend it. I can't defend it one bit, and I won't even try to.
We can't defend what he's doing, Jason. I mean, right now he looks really bad. Let's be honest.
Also, Robbie, you were saying Wilder will be with the Showtime booth. Wasn't Showtime at the Vlad fight also, and Wilder was there with the Sky Sports? He was sitting with the Sky people.
That is
Showtime
correct.
Was on the other side?
That is correct. But this time, Showtime publicly came out and said Wilder would be with the Showtime.
Yeah, that's good. I think maybe he should fluctuate. Maybe do a little bit of fight with Showtime, a little bit with the Sky. I mean, he should do that. That's probably smart.
I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see if it actually comes about. So.
What do you guys think of Broner card? That's coming soon. Anybody going? You going to that card, Beeb? You should go there, man.
Where is it going to be? In New York?
Yeah, Barclays, home of PBC, baby. You know we run that building. That's the new mecca of boxing in the East Coast. That's all thanks to Al Heyman.
Maybe I'll fly you. Maybe I'll fly you down. I'll fly you down there with me.
Home of PBC, Jason. Why is Danny Jacobs there? He's not with PBC anymore.
Yeah, but we have a couple extra days left over at Brooklyn Boxing, so we just gave them to the new peasant in town, Eddie. It's a welcome home gift.
I'm gonna fly Jason down to that card.
Also, guys, what did you think about Shelly Finkel's clap back at Eddie? He said, I might be old school, but when I was from making that Vlad fight, Eddie had to call his daddy for approval before he made every move. What did you guys think about that?
That's funny.
I heard about that.
That's funny, man. Jason, I was coming to your neck of the woods next week.
Why is he calling names Shelly Finkel? Because he got kind of under his skin, right? Because he read his emails and he said he never got a reply.
Shelly Finkel's in Eddie's head. Whenever you resort to ad hominem attacks, that means you ran out of ideas.
That's it.
That's what happens.
He put out a press release. He called him Shelly Winkle like 10 times at least. Every
Shirley,
2 sentences.
Shirley. He was
like
calling him Shirley.
Really
he kept
hard.
calling him Shirley. He was calling him Shirley.
Shirley.
Since when did this turn into the UK? My God. Jeez.
That's the biggest fight in boxing, man. I don't even care about GGG versus Canelo. I mean, we know the cards are going to be crooked. Canelo's juiced up. I mean, I'm not even that excited about that fight, really. What's the big deal?
All right, Jason.
All right, guys, that's my call. Thanks.
All right.
All right, Jason.
And to believe, I was going to head to Jason's neck of the woods next week in Atlanta to watch UC. Now I can't do that.
Nope.
Did you guys know that Corey Lee
Xavier
is
probably
on
won't
hold?
be there at this rate.
How dare you? How many California teams are in it this year? Who's
None,
left?
thank
None.
you, because
There
they
it
didn't
is.
deserve it.
Because you guys can't ball up there. That's why. Area code 804. 804, you're
What's
live.
up?
Corey.
Roll up your window, Corey.
Yeah, right.
How's everybody doing? Oh, we're good.
Good.
Y'all hanging in there today?
We're trying.
All right. That's good, man. So I did for all the new subscribers to my channel, man, check out Corey Lee Boxing. I did the post-fight video for I don't know if any of y'all talked about that because I've only been listening to the show for 50 minutes, as long as I've been on hold.
You've been on hold for 24 minutes.
Talk about it since I've been on hold. Yeah, I've been on hold for 50 minutes, buddy. Don't get smart with me.
Yeah.
So, I thought you would like that, Eric. I thought you would like that one. Hey, Beeb, what's good, buddy? What's up?
What's up? What's up?
How's life treating y'all, man? Okay.
Hey, we're
Good, man.
man.
Good.
What's on your mind, brother? So I did a video on Felix Verdejo, man. He got stopped. God damn. He lost, man. Viva Puerto Rico. His career's over.
Yeah, he's done.
Oh man, and he was talking about he wanted a rematch with fucking Lomachenko from the Olympics where Lomachenko beat him in the Olympics. He kept hollering about he wanted a rematch with Lomachenko so bad. He'll be lucky if Bob Arum don't drop him completely, man. That's how bad he looked.
Bob Arum is going to drop him.
He's been looking bad in his last fight, and the guy, I could see if he lost to a guy that was, a solid 38-2 record. But this guy, let's be honest, the guy that he lost to, his record was very patent. What I mean by that is he fought the guy that beat him that was 38-2, Lozado. He fucking beat a guy. He was just fighting a guy in Mexico that was 4-15. 2 fights ago.
He was 4-15.
Beat this guy. He beat a guy 2 fights ago that was 4-15 in Mexico.
My God.
Lozado did. And he fucking knocked out a silver medalist in Felix Verdejo. That goes to show you that the amateurs don't mean shit in the pros. And I'm being honest with you guys out there. For all you amateur bloggers and all you guys want to hang on Lomachenko's nutsack. I mean, you gotta understand his pity pat punching can only go but so far in the pros, man. He's not hurting any of his opponents.
You want to bet? You want to bet on the Linares fight? You want to bet on the Linares fight?
He's gonna beat the Linares.
There you go.
He's gonna beat on Linares. You know why? You know why he's gonna beat on Linares?
Because he's talented.
Linares is gonna quit.
I told you, yeah, Linares.
Eric, wait a minute. Eric, you seriously want to bet him on the Linares-Lomachenko fight when Lomachenko's going to take him apart?
That's what I said. I said Lomachenko's going to take him apart.
That? Because, I know Lomachenko's going to win.
There you go.
That's a dumb bet. I bet you on that, David. Hey, Bell, you too, baby. Let's go, baby.
Well, we know how Corey is with bets.
I got David Hay knocking his head off. But let me talk about the fights this past weekend, man. I did it. Oh, yeah. And that's what I was going to tell y'all, man. My Felix Verdejo video, I did a post-fight thought. That shit is on 4,000 views, dude. And I've only started my channel a month ago.
Nice.
Well, good. Way to go. And so, listen, this is what I was going to tell y'all, man. So, yeah, the Jose Ramirez and Amir Imam fight, I got to eat crow, man. I thought Amir Imam was gonna win. He took a bad loss, man. But one of the judges had it 108 or 120. Yeah, that was stupid.
Come on, man. I'm like, dude, are you for real, man? Come on, man. And I'm just like, wow, the judges, man. I mean, I knew it was pretty much like gonna be I know at this point in Don King's career and Bob Arum's career, Bob Arum still has the better say in what goes on behind the scenes in boxing. So I never thought Amir Imam was gonna get a good decision. That showed you right there that they were not trying to give Amir Imam the benefit of the doubt on any of those rounds. And that's a telltale sign for the Ramirez in the Lomachenko fight, because you got Golden Boy going against Bob Arum, and they got history together. You know what I mean? And they don't really like each other, but they're doing it for the sport. They're doing it because, you know, they're both running out of fighters. Al Heyman has all the fighters, you know, and you pretty much had Oscar De La Hoya falling asleep at the wheel, and you got fucking Oscar De La Hoya got 250 fighters taken from falling asleep at the wheel, man. Al Heyman did that, you know, and that goes to show you that, you know, even though Oscar De La Hoya is doing good with Canelo, I mean, what else has he got? He got Ryan Garcia coming up Thursday on ESPN2. I mean, Ryan Garcia's got fucking Garnado's name down his throat, you know, and he's talking about he wants to fight Gervonta Davis so bad. And I'm just like, dude, you haven't even won a belt yet. And I mean, I understand it, you know, I think he's gonna be pushed along just like the Canelo fight, you know what I mean? But just like the Canelo career, you know what I mean? He's gonna be pushed around with a couple soft touches and build his career up. And then I think they're going to put him in with a bunch of, you know, older gatekeeper type fighters. You know what I mean? I got to give it to Oscar De La Hoya. You know what I mean? Even though he was falling asleep at the wheel and let Al Heyman take all of his fighters, he's a pretty good promoter, man, you know, with promoting fighters, man. I mean, I think he's pretty good. You know, I mean, I don't see Al Heyman promoting his fighters. When you with Al Heyman, you're going to get paid a better paycheck, but your promotion is going to suck. So, I mean, you know what I mean? You're not going to be there's not going to be an Al Heyman fighter that's going to be on the level of Canelo right now. Well, I don't see it, man.
Al Heyman's not a promoter.
Charlos, not Earl Spence, not any of that, man. You know what I mean? And I think that's a telltale sign, man. You need a promoter in this game. And that's why I respect Eddie Hearn, man, because he promotes his fighters. Even you can say what you want, you know what I mean? He can say he's going to fight. He doesn't want to fight Wilder. He does want to fight Wilder. He has conflicting interviews. But at the end of the day, he's a pretty good promoter, man. And that's all you ask out of a promoter when when he's promoting you, man. That's all a fighter ever asks out of a promoter. You know what I mean? And I mean, you know, I mean, at this present time, Anthony Joshua is pretty much the highest paid boxer in boxing, you know, next to Canelo, but I think he's even outdoing Canelo now, and he's only got 20 fights, and I'm a Wilder fan. I'm a fucking Wilder fan, and I just gotta state the obvious. You can't be biased because you're a fucking fanboy. You know, you got all these fanboys hollering about Wilder, and Anthony Joshua was scared about this, and Anthony Joshua was scared about that. Hey, man, at the end of the day, they're all fighters, man. I don't think any of them are scared, man.
No.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, man, they're fighting to get a paycheck. They're fighting to feed their family. You know, what they do outside of the ring is their prerogative. If Anthony Joshua wants to have 80 yes men around him, that's what the fuck he wants to do. He got 20 million reasons why he wants to do that. So who gives him a right? Who gives us a right, you know what I mean, to judge what he does outside of the ring? We're supposed to judge him in the ring. If we wanted to judge a fighter outside of the ring, we can fucking nitpick at Deontay Wilder, weed possessions here, you know, doing this there, you know what I mean? I mean, it is what it is. None of these fighters are perfect, you know what I mean? But I think it's ridiculous for all these guys to jump on and I'm far from an Anthony Joshua fan. But I think he's 20-0. I mean, we wouldn't be asking Wilder to do this at 20-0, but hey, you got the belt, you got the bullseye on your back, and I think he got the belt a little too soon. That's my opinion, man. But when you got the money in your hand and you sacrifice paying Charles Martin all that money, but look at the fucking reward, man.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the fucking reward. Eddie Hearn had a good plan, and he precisely executed that plan to a fucking T, and it's beautiful. You know what I mean? And I just think that they got a good thing going on over there in the UK, man. And I'm a Wilder fan saying this shit, man. But I'm not biased. You gotta put you being a fanboy and you being a fan, you gotta put that aside when you're trying to judge a fight. You know what I mean? You gotta look at the business side of it too. I honestly want to see the fight next. But if he can fight for a guy like Taco for $20 million and fight Deontay Wilder for like $30 million, what the fuck would you do?
I agree.
And I'm not gonna talk your head off, man. It was good fights this weekend, man. Please like and subscribe. And I'm out, baby.
All right. Thank you, Corey.
All right, Corey.
Good call. Good call as usual. And go check out his YouTube channel. It's Corey Lee Boxing. And just go to YouTube, search Corey Lee Boxing, and that's his channel. So there you go. Quickly, because we're running out of time here. 760, you're live.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? This is Brian.
Brian,
hey, Brian,
What's happening? How you doing, brother?
Right. Hey, you guys talking about my favorite subject, the heavyweights.
All right.
I like what's going on. Hey, so they're not going to let Wilder walk in the ring or what?
That's what it sounds
well, that's
like.
what one of the
because they've been talking about that for months.
Yeah, and I saw the article. I saw the article on it. No, I saw the article on it, and it sounds legit that he doesn't want him in the ring. Anthony Joshua said he doesn't want like a WWE situation in the ring. He just wants it.
Yeah, that would have been tight.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought so too.
That would have been good for
the thing is,
promoting it and everything. But
I agree, but he's not going to fight him next, so there's no reason to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but it's building up though, because at first I wanted to see it next, but I think what they got to do first is build up Joshua over here, because not every casual fan know who Joshua is. More people starting to know about Wilder, but they got to build up who Joshua is over here first. Not as far as the boxing fans, but the casuals.
Well, that's why I guess that's why the plan is for him to fight Big Baby Miller next in August. But
yeah,
I would rather see the Wilder fight next myself.
But when you think about it, if he fights Miller, he'll beat him, and then people see who he is over here, and then that's when they might push for the fight even more. After that, it shouldn't be nothing after that, though. Just give him one fight to basically advertise who he is in the U.S. and then just start setting it up, because everybody's talking about it. I mean, like casual fans talking about it, hardcore fans talking about it. It's definitely something that they're building up. They can't wait too long, though.
Well, I think to meet the financial demands that they're both going to have, unfortunately, I think it's going to be a pay-per-view fight when it does happen.
Yeah. It's okay, though, because it's going to be a one-and-done thing, because you just got these two up there in that division.
90 seconds.
And so it's going to be that big heavyweight fight, and then who else is there? Nobody. It's no heavyweights. It's back to regular schedule. Because we haven't had no heavyweights in a long time in there like this, these clashes, But, it's getting closer. I'm almost ready to bet. Somebody want to bet me on Anthony Joshua beating Wilder. I'm betting on Wilder.
60 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends. Like I said, I never bet like this far out, but I always thought Wilder. I still think Wilder. Yeah. I think he's got the better.
We'll do
Wilder,
a pre.
Joshua.
We could do a pre bet. We'll start a pre bet.
There you go. Yeah, I would definitely take that bet, because I think that Joshua has a better skill set. I think Joshua has more ways to win.
Yeah.
Wilder has one way to win a fight. That's it.
Yeah.
Now that being said, he's been successful 40 times or something like that. So it's kind of tough to say.
Yeah, 40 wins, 39 knockouts, man.
Yeah, so it's kind of tough to go against him, but he's only got one way to win.
It's like, I think it's just a 50. I do give it a slight, as far as like technical skills, I'll give it to Joshua.
10 seconds.
Here though, you see him get tired, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's a big weakness. It don't even matter how good you are with skills. If you get tired, it's a wrap.
No, but I think when they do this contract, I think you're going to have to put a rematch clause, because I could see this being a 2 or 3 fight series.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. But, I'm wondering who Wilder is going to try to fight next. If Joshua's not going to fight him, who is Wilder going to fight next? I don't know.
I would say Povetkin maybe. Povetkin maybe. He's always out there with the WBC. I don't know. His options are very limited. Joshua can fight just about anybody because he's the money man.
Anybody.
Wilder is very
he can fight anybody.
That's why he's pushing for this.
That's why I say, with the fighters. See me, I'm just a boxing. I just want to see a good fight.
Right.
I don't care about nothing. I just want to see a good fight. I don't care about the business of it. And it seemed like Wilder just want to fight. But Anthony Joshua, he making the money. So it's like you got businessmen against the fighters nowadays. So if the business side of it is going to win, then of course we ain't gonna see this fight, So that's why I'll be like, people just got to stop justifying all these excuses, so we could see these good fights, because that's what's been messing boxing up.
Unfortunately, Brian, in the political aspect of boxing, you unfortunately you don't want to pay attention to it, but you have to, because there's so many things that goes on. You got competing TV networks, you got competing promoters, you got competing this, competing that. Unfortunately, boxing is not just a sport anymore. It is a business, and boxing fans who truly care about the sport have to care about all aspects of it. You can't close your eyes to it, because unfortunately it's just the way of the boxing business these days.
I'm not saying close your eyes and ignore it, but I'm just saying, like, we just ain't trying to hear it. Just make these fights happen, because still, if it's a market, right, and they making all this money, they making money from everybody watching the fights. So if nobody's really supporting the whole thing, and we ain't trying to hear it, because Anthony, you right about Anthony Joshua, he can make money over there in that country all he wants to, but it's a more competitive market in the United States. You know what I'm saying? It's more competitive over here. So, Wilder ain't going to be getting that kind of money for fighting. He ain't going to have the same. It's just different. Everything is different,
right.
It's just all different. But that's why I say it's up to the fans to just say we ain't trying to hear that, and just try to start, push. The fans can push for the fights. They always say they want to make the fans happy, so the fans can keep pushing, and then his fans will push for the fight too. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I get where you're coming from. I really do.
I just think I think we in control. That's what I think. We the masses, the fans. But I'm just tired of seeing all these mismatches, and then everybody making up these excuses, because I know all of them are boxers and everybody's fighters and everything like that. But it's like you got fighters and you got businessmen. You got fighters and you got businessmen. Just because they boxers, they business. Everybody's businessmen, but it's just different. Muhammad Ali, was he a fighter, or was he a businessman, or was he both? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I
think he was a fighter first.
Yeah.
Because he won the title at a young age too, didn't he? But it's not like he was trying to. It's not like he was dipping and dodging and just trying to milk his way on fighting easy dudes. It was like he was saying the same thing Wilder was saying. I want to fight the best. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you build up more of income, by giving the fans good fights. You give them good fights, and then you build it up. And then if you ain't giving them good fights, and then that's how your market's gonna dry up pretty much, you know. But man, I just hope this fight happens, man.
It will.
I hope it happens, and I think we got enough control to push for it. You know, I'm tired of hearing the excuses.
It's too big of a fight not to happen.
You know,
it's just there's too much money there for it not to happen. So yeah, for sure, that fight will go down, no question.
And this guy, you know, it's you know, a lot of people that's not even into boxing is talking about these heavyweights. You know what I'm saying? And that lets you know it's drawing a lot of attention. You know, but I don't know, man. It could be, you know. I'm just like, man, I'm so suspicious of the fight happening. I mean, I think Joseph Parker might win. I think Anthony Joshua just might let him knock him out or something, so he won't fight Wilder. I think it's that serious, you know.
It's not.
I might as well. I'll just take the loss to Joshua on points than to get knocked out by Wilder. You know what I'm saying? It might be like that.
Nah, man, there's no way Parker's beating Joshua.
Who you guys think Anthony Joshua gonna beat Parker real easy? You think he's gonna knock him out pretty quick or what?
I would say within 10 rounds. I mean, I think it'll go inside the distance now. I think it'll go a little bit later, but yeah, I think he beats Parker. I think he smashes Parker. I don't think there's any way Parker wins that fight.
Yeah,
because
I've been looking at a lot of Parker's fights. Parker's got good speed, you know, but all I see him doing is just maybe tapping and tapping them and tapping them and tapping, like the Amir Khan and Canelo, you know, and then all it takes is just one big shot to get him up out of there, you know, because I don't see too much.
Yeah, no, because Joseph Parker doesn't have a whole lot of power.
Power. Yeah, he's lacking the power because Andy Ruiz. I mean, that dude. He looked. I don't know if he was out of shape. He certainly looked out of shape. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand how he didn't get him up out of there. So ever since I seen that fight, I was like, oh, this dude, he's somebody easy to take the title from.
Right.
You know. Because
I've always thought that Parker.
It didn't look too good, even with the Fury. You know, when he fought Fury, I said he didn't get him up out of there either. Yeah, at least with Anthony Joshua and with Wilder, anybody can say what they want. They getting them dudes up out of there, you know. But you know, I don't know. Maybe Parker just looking at it as cashing out, you know. But I don't see him doing nothing.
No.
I just don't see it. You know,
I hear you.
I don't see it, but yeah, man, I'm hoping this fight happens. That way, I could take Eric's money from him. You know?
All right.
You know,
there you go.
And anybody else that want to bet, you know, hopefully. But man, hopefully they get this fight going. And hey, what's going on next week? Who's fighting next weekend?
We went over the schedule. It
wasn't the Parker Joshua fight.
No.
Oh, it's next weekend. Oh, okay.
We just went over that.
Yeah,
no,
it's the 31st.
Right.
Oh, you know what? It's,
next week is not the 31st.
Is that Dylan White and you guys talked about that fight, the Dylan White and Lucas Brown? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's next week.
We went over that.
Okay, next week. What you guys think about that? You guys even interested in that? Or
yeah, I think so. I think
I'm surprised that HBO picked that up.
Yeah.
I just seen that today. They just picked it up. You guys think that's going to be a good fight or what?
I do.
I'm hoping. Yeah, I think so.
Is.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
There you go. But, all right, Brian, we're gonna get
I'll let you
here.
guys go, man. Thank you guys.
Oh, thank you, man. Very good.
All right,
Brian. Be good.
All right. Let's go to the rest of the news, and then we're gonna get out of here. So I can watch another Cincinnati team, hopefully win this time. All right, so Vinny Paz pleads no contest to domestic violence. According to TMZ, cops initially received a call from a member of Paz's girlfriend's family who said Paz got violent. The woman reportedly suffered injuries to her face. When cops arrived, the woman was taken out of the scene on a stretcher. Paz pled no contest and didn't receive any jail time, but the judge ordered him to take a domestic abuse and substance abuse counseling. participate in a mental health program, and give up his guns. He's also on probation for a year, and is not allowed to contact the victim for a year. So there you go. Floyd Mayweather is in training for an MMA fight. Floyd Mayweather says he's dead serious about taking an MMA fight. Confirms he'll start training with Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley is the champion in the UFC. He's a welterweight champion in the UFC. Very good fighter, very explosive fighter. If you're picking a guy to train you, that's not a bad choice. I'll tell you that. Floyd told TMZ, I can wrestle. My wrestling game is not that bad. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably a 7. I think we could take it up to like a 9. And when asked about what he's going to do with will he actually fight in the cage, he said it's all presenting the right numbers. Of course, they're going to present the right numbers, and we're going to make it happen. So I don't know. Beeb, is there a possibility this is going to happen? I didn't think there was a possibility of Conor and him fighting, but so I guess it's possible. Yeah?
Yes, there is. With the right opponent, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about if you put Conor in the ring with him, there's no contest here. Conor's even under 30 seconds.
Too tall of an order for him for that. Yeah.
Right, but if you take a guy like say CM Punk, who was from the WWE and is now he's 0-1 in the UFC, that's not
doable. That's doable.
Doable fight for the money man. So
sure is.
Manny Pacquiao investing in startup. The entrepreneur in the Philippines paper, I guess reported that Singapore-based Global Crypto Offering Exchange announced on Wednesday that Pacquiao is now an investor in the firm. So who cares? Who cares if he's investing in a cryptocurrency firm? Who cares? Train wreck of the week this week is the University of Cincinnati, who blew a 22-point lead against Nevada to blow their shot, once again getting ousted in the second round as usual, and to blow their shot of Sweet 16. So there you go. That'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Robert on Twitter at Ringside Robert, or you can call Ringside Robbie's Corner at 917-259-1810 and leave him a message. You can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at jhabib1 and find his YouTube channel on beatingtheoddswithbeeb.com. I'm at Ringside 73, and we will see you next week.